What is up, guys? Welcome to another Amazon FBA happy hour. Today we have Taylor, Treasures by Tay. Sorry about that. That was super unprofessional. Had the other screen open, but thank you so much for being here. We met in Kansas City. We were both speaking at a conference. Taylor is doing big things in her business, has a couple of VAs. I figured she would be awesome. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to be here.
So can you give us a little background about kind of how you got started and all that good stuff?
Yeah, so I actually didn't start officially selling on Amazon. That wasn't my first way to get into reselling. I kind of got into reselling because I was on a trip with my husband and I said I'm so freaking tired of not being able to travel as much as I would like to because my husband travels a lot for work. And so it was always me being left behind while he is going and doing great things. So I just started like going on YouTube, figuring out like what the heck I can do to work from home. And I came across like some people selling on Poshmark. So I ended up building that like over a year to a 6-figure business. But the problem with selling on Poshmark and eBay, there's only so much you can do, especially when you're selling like used things. So I was looking for something that's like, yeah, this is wonderful, but it's not scalable to the degree that I want. And also not something where I could step out of my business at some point and kind of let it like run its course by itself for the most part. So then I ended up getting into selling on Amazon. I remember my sister-in-law said something about it. And then I was kind of like, that seems like not really legit. Then I did like all of my own background research on it and I was like, oh, let's try it. So yeah, I failed a lot in the beginning. Because I feel like there wasn't as many people with a lot of content at the time. So I kind of just like trialed and errored it. And then, once I figured it out, it just kind of grew by itself. I feel like. So yeah, that's kind of how I got started.
Cool. Did you start with RA or OA or?
I started with RA. This was so random. One time I was like on Instagram and somebody was saying something about like, oh, like summer stuff is going crazy because this was like right in the beginning of COVID. And they were like, oh yeah, like summer stuff is popping off. Like go check Walmart. And so I just legit, the first thing I scanned was this pool that was like selling for like $50 and it was going for like 300 something dollars. And I told my husband, I was like, pack everything up. We are leaving right now and hitting every single Walmart. I had no clue what I was doing. Like I never shipped anything. And so I bought every single pool that I could. And within the first night, I made $3,000. And I was like, dude, I'm onto something. Like there is like, I am like, I got to figure this out. And then after that, it was like months of not knowing what to do. Because it was just like, it was like a weird like thing that I somehow came upon. It was just like, yeah, very weird. But yeah, I started in RA and I did that for a while, but same thing. It was kind of like, it's all of your time. Like it just ate up all of my time and I didn't want to deal with that. I was also going through like a lot of health issues and I was like, I've got to be able to like get somewhat out of it. Like I don't have to like drive around all the time. And so then I started like looking into OA and kind of like figuring that out. And now I think maybe RA is like maybe 1%. I don't even want to say 1% at this point. Like I did RA the other day just because I had to go pick up like stuff for my cold and I was like, oh, let me walk around and I picked up like a couple bags of stuff. But other than that, no, mostly OA at this point.
Yeah, I feel like every time I go to like a store and start to do RA, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you don't know what you're doing. Like, just go home and like go look up this stuff online because anytime I buy something, it's like not profitable or like I missed something because I don't have Wi-Fi or something like that. But that's like amazing. Like, good for you for like kind of going all in on the pools. Like, I feel like a lot of people, and I think that's like what it's all about. Is like taking action. Like a lot of people be like, "Oh, I'll buy one pool and like see how it goes," and then like you're going to go back and like they're not going to be there. But like you're just like, you know what? Let's go. Let's get all these pools and let's just kind of go for it.
Yeah, my husband was like, I have no clue what you're doing. Like, you're not even sure of what you're doing. I was like, yeah, I have no idea, but I'm just gonna like go all in. If anything, I can return it. Like, that was just my mentality. He was like, okay, so you're gonna take like all of your profits that you just made last month on your Poshmark business and just throw it all in. I'm like, yeah, like I don't care. I'm just gonna do it. I feel like
Wow.
that's kind of been how I've been throughout this business. I feel like if you throw yourself at something and you really are determined to figure it out, you're gonna figure it out. That's how I feel.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly that's what I did with books too. It's just like it's like I can't do books in OA anymore. And it's like as soon as I cut off books, it's like you have no choice, man. Like you have to make this work. And then it's like you're really like you built this business for like 3 years and like you're totally gonna like 360 and like build from the ground up again. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what it's gonna take.
Yeah, I feel
Um,
like that's what makes or breaks like Amazon sellers, like especially like newbies like coming in, like they're so scared of like these little things, like scared. Like I think like people that are like, I'm scared to spend $100. I'm like, well, if you're scared to spend $100, then this probably won't be the business for you because there's a lot of other things that are, you're just it's either gonna make or break you in this business. Like you can lose thousands of dollars without even like sometimes without even you realizing it, and then you're like, holy crap, I just made a big money mistake.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like I lose money on ASINs all the time. I mean, it's not obviously I make a lot more on the ASINs, but like they're just still losers. It's just like how it goes, and like if I focus on that, and I was thinking a loss of like $15 on one. It just like totally went to hell. Like everything checked out, like test bought, and then the buy box went away, and yeah, now I'm stuck with like all this stuff, and it's just like, well, like that's how it goes sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think one of the biggest like mistakes like beginners make when they're kind of getting started?
Uh, not not knowing Keepa. I coach like a lot of people, and like they'll be selling for a while, and they are not knowledgeable in the Keepa space. Like really knowing how to read a Keepa graph. Especially for me, I feel like I didn't know that either. I was just
Yeah.
basing it off of like BSR in the beginning because that's all I really knew. I didn't know how to read the Keepa graph. But I just feel like people aren't putting enough time into reading it. Like they're just, they just think, oh, they're looking at like the last like 5 days of like how it's been selling. It's like, no, you need to be looking at like real past data. Other than like not understanding Keepa, I just feel like they're not like we kind of said earlier, they're not like putting in the effort to learn it. Like I know that's like really simple, but I feel like some people just think like this business you're gonna get into it and you're just gonna sell thousands of dollars. Like they have these expectations of what it's going to be. Like false reality is what I like to call it. I'm kind of a person like I'm gonna tell you like the real reality of how it is, and this is how it's gonna be, kind of thing.
The real.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the real. Like I'm not gonna be sugarcoating nothing for you. Like it sucks in the beginning, and I think some people their mistake is like thinking that it's gonna be all great and dandy, and it's gonna be a really hard grind in the beginning, but it pays off like in the future.
Yeah, it blows my mind sometimes. Like I get caught up in it too, where it's just like, oh, like I wish I was like further along the path or all this other stuff. And it's like, dude, like you've been doing this for 3 years. Like I've been doing online arbitrage for a year and a half. Like I've
Mhm.
done Amazon like books for like 3 or 4 years. But it's like that's just like kind of crazy to think like a year and a half. Like any business, it takes like years and years and years like
Mhm.
to kind of even get it. And like some of the bigger sellers that I know have been doing this. Like you think about Amazon Lit, they've been doing this for like 15 years or something like that.
Yeah.
You're just like, oh yeah, like that makes tons of sense why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, and I tell
Um,
people all the time, like I tell them, listen, any job you start is going that like everybody gives you like that 90-day trial period. And even after your 90-day trial period on a job, you still don't know everything. Like you could be at a corporate job and for years you're still like learning and growing and developing as a person in your position. Like if you look at the Amazon, like your Amazon business is that, yes, you are now like a business owner technically, so like you have a lot more to learn. There's a lot more into it. So like don't give up on yourself after like 90 days. Like I tell people, give yourself like a solid 6 months to really understand everything. But even after that, like I'm still learning stuff every day. Like there's stuff that comes up and I'm like, how did I not know that? You're just learning. And I think people like discredit that. Like they just think they're going to know everything, you know, after watching YouTube for 15 hours. Like that's just not, that's not how it goes.
Yeah, I feel like too, you like, I love like the time frame of 6 months because I feel like that is the time frame. Like depending on what you're doing, like you're probably not really gonna get like paid out until like 3 months. Like 90 by the time like they're taking everything out and like you're gonna have returns, like you're gonna make bad buys. So like 6 months is kind of like the real like I feel like time where you're just like, yeah, like either like this or I don't. And you're most likely not going to like it at first because it just sucks at first. Like, this is kind of how it is.
Yeah, it eats all up your time. Like I tell people, you're going to have like a lot of time that goes into like that 6 months. You know, like I tell people, it's like, yeah, I don't really have to work that many hours now. And that's wonderful. But like, that doesn't discredit all the, you know, the time that it took me to get there. You know, people think they're going to come in at however long you've been selling on Amazon, they're going to be able to do that. It's like, no, like the beginning is a straight up grind, you know?
Yeah. Shout out to all the FBA girlies. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, drop them in the chat. I feel like people are quiet today. So what do you think, what was the biggest almost like change for you, I guess, going from Poshmark to Amazon?
I think the volume game was where it was at. You know, when you're doing like Poshmark, you're thrifting and hoping to find like one solid, really good item. When I was in like the Poshmark space, I really was good at like the designer finds and things like that. So even though like I wasn't selling at like such a large scale, I was selling things that were like had a really, really big return because they were like, you know, I'm spending like $7 on this item and I'm selling it for 300.
Wow.
You know, so like I didn't have to like buy as many things, but the problem was like I could spend my entire time doing that. Whereas I wanted, even though Amazon, maybe I'm not making as much as a return, I'm doing it at volume. And so you're just getting a lot more back, and it's a lot quicker game too. Like Amazon is just like so fast. Like, you know, one item sells in this, you know, if it's a good item, it's gone the same day and you're selling it at volume. You know, you can't on Poshmark, it's just like you could be waiting around for that one buyer that wants that thing, you know?
Amazon. Yeah, I think that's a really hard like transition too. It was hard for me. Like, yeah, I'm used to paying, you know, $1 a book maybe to turn that into 40 or 50, and now it's like you buy something for 40 or 50, hoping to make like 10, 12 bucks on it, 15, just depending on how the numbers work. And like I think that's like a really big thing that a lot of people who are just like kind of thrifting and kind of doing all that stuff, and there's nothing wrong with that. There are a lot of people who are really successful with that, but eventually like you're going to hit the point where like one, you either have to like go into bulk because you just run out of time. Like it's just physically impossible. Like even if you got like, I don't know, let's just say a Gaylord of clothes, like you still have to take pictures of all of it. You got to ship it all out. Like there's a lot to do.
Actually got like when I was in the Poshmark space, you get to the point where it's like there's only so much you can buy as one person because it's like you can't. It's almost like that's something that like you can't entrust somebody else to do. Because it's like a Poshmark, like a clothing thing is like very much like a touch feel, like you just know. Like there's brands that I found that I didn't even know what the brand was, but just by the feel of it, I could tell that it was a high-end brand. Then I look it up and it'd be like, oh crap, this is like a really good brand that I should be selling. But like what you said, so after a point, you can't buy that much. And so like I went into buying pallets of clothing from like Nordstrom Rack. There was just a lot of mess that went into that as well, but you still can't, because you can't determine what's in that box. You can't determine if anything you purchased in that box, you know, you're spending, I think it was like $13 an item and you're buying 500 items blind. Do you know what I mean? Wow. So it was just like, I wanted to go, also like the storage problem was another reason why I went into Amazon too, because like Poshmark, you have to store all that stuff yourself. Whereas Amazon, it kind of was like, dude, I could do this and not store any of this stuff. Like I could send in thousands of units and like Amazon's going to handle everything, including the shipping. like I don't have to sit here and ship every day. I mean, unless I'm doing merchant fulfilled in Q4, but uh
Yeah, no, that
you
yeah, space is a huge. That's why I stopped doing books because I didn't want to like merch fulfill. I was like, I want
mhm,
to do FBA. Like, I don't want this huge warehouse. Like, I don't want to have employees like that are physically there or have to be
yeah.
there with them. All that kind of stuff. So,
Mhm.
do you sell mostly like clothing and apparel on Amazon?
No, I kind of do like I say I stick to three categories like clothing, apparel, beauty, and like grocery. So like personal care. I group personal care and beauty kind of in the same thing
Yeah,
for
like personal.
myself. But I kind of like stick to those three just because even though I can't, for some reason, I can't get my hands out of the clothing and apparel because of the return and like the big, like, even though you get returns, it's just like some of them actually lately, surprisingly, I haven't been getting much returns as I normally do on like clothing and shoes. But I did want to have something that doesn't have high returns either, like to focus on like beauty and grocery and stuff like that.
How much of your business would you say is like apparel, clothing, and shoes?
Mm, I would say right now, because we're in like the school season right now, it's probably about 50%.
Okay, cool.
Normally not that high, but I think right now it's kind of like up real loaded up on that just because of the season we're in. But yeah.
Yeah, I was probably like 90% apparel like last year, and now I'm like, I don't know, like 3%. And it's like, oh, I always get like the temptation to like get back into it, but I'm just
Hmm.
like, I don't know. Do you really want to do that again, or like, do
Yeah.
you like you were able to buy like enough inventory and kind of like make your way out? But yeah, it's so tempting. Like the margin, I didn't do shoes. I was just doing apparel, but like just at the speed it sells and
Yeah.
kind of like
I
good
don't do it really,
competition.
like I do some clothing, but like I just like the shoe game more. I'm also like a runner, so like I
Oh,
know so much about like running shoes that like it's like a thing that just like transferred into selling sneakers and like what sneakers are really hot right now and like what are the like runners people don't realize like we rebuy shoes every 250 miles that you run, and if you run
oh,
all the time and you're like training for marathons, like you're running through shoes like this. So like it's kind of like in my mind, I go back
oh,
and buy the same sneaker. Like, a lot of times people don't come back, like the normal buyer of sneakers isn't coming back and buying the same sneakers again. But like
yeah,
runners are coming back and buying the same sneaker most of the time.
that
Um,
makes sense. Okay.
Interesting.
yeah. So,
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I've never bought the same pair of sneakers, but like I guess yeah, that makes sense. If you're like, I've definitely like had stuff that like I really like when I was in the
mhm,
middle of doing something, and it's just
yeah.
like yeah, like a good example is like workout shirts. I have like three of each color. Like I just really like the shirt, and like so there's like 15 shirts, and they just like go through. But yeah, I can definitely see that, and yeah, I think it's always like important to kind of do like a niche that like makes sense for you and that
Hmm.
you just kind of know about because it just makes it a lot easier than kind of going in blind and
Yeah.
trying to like figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I
100%.
recommend people do that. I mean, because like you said, you kind of know that already just based on your experiences as a runner. And you always have some kind of like advantage whenever you're doing like a category that you know what I mean that you know a lot about. So always at least look into that category if it's something that interests you, and you never know,
Yeah.
you might have a competitive edge just because you know something that somebody else doesn't. Like I would never even thought about the runner thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me either. I was just like thinking about it. I'm just like,
Or
yeah,
like
Yeah, I was
these
like, that's
niche
actually really
running
interesting.
stores. Like people don't real like there's really niche running stores that like you wouldn't normally like the normal sneaker buyer isn't going to go and like purchase
Hmm.
from this random little store in Iowa. But they're like
mm,
really big for runners. Do you know what I mean? So
interesting.
it's just like that kind of like you said, it's just that competitive edge that people don't know about. Which also
Okay.
leads to now like I kind of get like my sneakers, like some of my sneakers for free because I spend so much and then they give me money. Like they're like, "Oh, you've spent like $3,000. And so like I have like $1,800 worth of like any free gear that I want from this one specific store. Just because I buy my inventory from them, but then I'm getting all of my runner stuff for free. Like I won't even use it for inventory, which I totally could and like get free inventory. But like I'm such like a big like, you know, I just want it for myself.
That's
funny.
What's up, Milton? You guys have any questions? Drop them in the chat. So I guess in terms of like the running stores, do you get less like cancellation or not cancellations, less returns because like people know what they're buying?
I feel like I do. I feel like I do. I feel like I have a higher problem like when I go into like selling like Nike. Like I do sell a lot of Nike, so I'm not going to say that. But I feel like I have more of a problem like with returns when like I'm selling Nike products. Nike, I mean, they have a couple of shoes that are for runners, but they're never really on any kind of like real discount that is like worth it. But so I'll like throw this tidbit out, especially because it's kind of like the running community. So running shoes, when like they come out, right? So the brand new one comes out. The later model is always obviously going to go on discount, but people don't realize they actually don't stop selling that like older model. Like it goes on discount, but like that older model could be for sale for like another 3 years. And runners literally, let's just say like I had like a shoe that was like the 8.0, but they just came out with a 9.0, but I've always run in the 8.0. So it's kind of like I want that shoe. Like I love that shoe. I run great in that shoe. I'm going to continue buying that shoe because a lot of times we don't really care about the new model, especially when you're really used to like the certain model that you have. And so we'll just go and keep rebuying that one.
Okay, that makes total sense. Yeah, I like hate change too. Like for something like that, like when I was a runner, I'd be like, yeah, I'd rather just like buy 10 of the same shoe and like if I'm happy with it, and not have to worry about it.
Color variation maybe, but like just buying the same one. Like don't break what doesn't need to, or don't fix what isn't broken.
And then the other question I have is, do you get less? I asked it wrong before, but you getting less order cancels from the store because you're kind of like buying running shoes? They're like, oh yeah, it's totally normal for someone to buy like 10 pairs of this shoe.
I've had some stores cancel, but a lot of like these little stores, sometimes I think like the little stores sometimes do cancel, but I feel like I have also less cancellations with them because maybe they're not used to so many like resellers just coming in and like blowing it up.
They're grabbing their stuff.
That makes sense. Like a normal store, I can't even think of a store right now that like maybe a bunch of like resellers would go in and just like tear it up. Yeah, but like when you have like tons of resellers like coming in at once, I can understand like why there's cancellations.
That makes total sense. She's right about running shoes. Many people go through them, although I've been using the same shoes for 2 years. Wow, that's pretty crazy. Can you get like a crazy high? Have you ever experienced getting like a crazy high price because like they're gone, like from like the store and now it's just on Amazon?
Yeah. Like shoes that you're getting for like at this point maybe getting them discounted to like $80 and you're selling them upward of like $290.
Whoa, jeez.
Yeah, it's just like getting really knowledgeable and like and TikTok. You know, some people aren't in the TikTok thing, but like I'm on TikTok. But like Run Talk, like runners TikTok, you want to know anything about sneakers?
Look into this.
These people are like die hard, like sneakerheads, know everything about like every freaking sneaker. Like I watch it just for my own personal, but like it, like you said, it's just like your interests feed into like your business. Like, you know, and you can really like build off of that.
Yeah, oh man, I get so sucked into TikTok. I try not to go on because I know I'm not going to get anything done for like the next hour. But yeah, every once in a while I will see like something that helps. And you're like, don't you have like 95,000 like followers or something like that?
Yeah. For all these people on here, if you guys would give me 100,000, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, go follow on TikTok. Yeah, that's so crazy. I just kind of started getting like on TikTok. Actually, I'm just repasting reels and stuff that I'm doing on Instagram, but definitely like it's more that I just don't want to go on. So now I'm gonna get sucked in, and then it's just very difficult to like get back on like track.
I'm terrible on the Instagram side. I'm better on the TikTok side, but yeah, the Instagram, I feel like I'm just non-existent. I try, I keep trying, and then it's like it's not, I don't know, maybe it's just because TikTok I can go and watch things that are interesting, and my TikTok is full, or my Instagram is full of funny stuff, but then my TikTok is just full of knowledge. So it's kind of like it's a battle.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess if you are looking, I should look more into that too. Just like, like Run Talk, or they had the whole thing. I don't know if it's like a bolo anymore, but like everyone making like water or something. There's all these like water flavors. People are buying like, they're making like mixed drinks out of like water packets or something. Like someone would literally go on there, take a Stanley mug, and then like, oh, I put some blue Kool-Aid. I put some, I don't even know what the hell they were doing. And then they just like mix it around and grate it. And I was like,
there's so many
100,000 views. Like, what the hell is this?
There are so many things that like pop off at certain points of the year, like where these TikTok, I'm going to call them the TikTok girlies, like these influencers that they just start talking about something. And then all of a sudden I'm like seeing it all the time. Like, oh, you should buy this. You should buy this. And then I go online and I'm like, this is freaking selling like crazy on Amazon, because whatever store they're buying it from, I don't want to release the one thing I'm thinking about, because I'm not sure if it is still a bolo, like if it's still something people are buying. So I won't ruin anybody's, item if you have it. Like, I remember seeing this one thing and I went and I bought so much of it, because it was just, you couldn't, like, it would come in stock in the certain store, and then like it would go out of stock within like not even an hour, and then it would sell for like double on Amazon, because these TikTok girls were just going ham about it. And so I just find like, even though maybe like I'm like looking just for my own like leisure and pleasure, it's like I find so many things that just like went crazy on my Amazon just from like following these random influencers on there.
What would you, so if someone like, so for me, I'm not like really, I guess, finding anything. What advice would you have if I wanted to kind of like try to find like some trends on TikTok of like stuff I could sell on Amazon? Like, how would you go about it?
So first thing I would say is really find like the people that you like to watch, like, and they have to be in the influencer world. So they need to have like a high following, because a lot of these people are brand partnering with people. So, a lot of people have like brand partnerships with like brands and stuff. So they're really highly promoting like certain products. So once those people do, like, they start promoting these products, right? Almost all of them all these influencers have Amazon storefronts. So they're like putting on these products that they want people to buy. They'll be like, oh, you can buy this on my Amazon storefront. And I mean, a lot of people I follow, they have like over 1 million followers. These people are making tons of money off of their Amazon storefronts. If you start just looking at what these influencers have on their Amazon storefronts and doing the back end work of like,
that's like reverse sourcing on like steroids.
It's like reverse sourcing, but like in a totally different idea of like looking at what these influencers are heavily promoting and then like doing the work that way.
That's actually so crazy, because one, if it's a hot product, like people are gonna be looking for it anyway on Amazon, and then you have this other influencer like driving people there as well, and probably all these other people. So you're getting like double traffic.
So like one really big thing right now, like this is a tidbit for anybody on here. Rush Talk right now for all those people, like it's like a really big thing right now during like people rushing sororities. This week really is really big. But all of these girls are becoming like super famous during we call it the Rush Talk season, because all of these new like freshmen are coming in and they're like showing their jewelry, showing what's in their like Rush bag, like what are they like, what essentials do they think they need to have like for this week rushing a sorority. All of those things are being heavily bought on Amazon right now. And these girls are linking them all in their Amazon storefronts. And if you can find that stuff like for cheaper, you know, it's just, you know, a matter of you buying this stuff and selling it.
Interesting. I'm gonna have to. I think this is gonna be my new strategy. I'm gonna find some influencers and just see what they're doing, because I almost feel like it's kind of like how I don't want to go on TikTok and do it. I feel like that's almost like another barrier where it's just like you're kind of going in there and like I feel like just like talking to you, you're just like, oh, like the run talk. Like I've never heard of any of
like
this
a
stuff.
niche, like it sounds weird, but like a niche talk. Like what niche? There's niches on there, like Lego people that are just like so in depth about Lego, and that's their entire TikTok page. Like get into something like you're interested in or like you like, and then they usually have like whatever the niche is, talk, you know, run talk, you know, rush talk, sneaker talk. Like they have like tons of these, you know, little niches, and all of these people, no matter what, they all have an Amazon storefront, every single one of them, because they're making money off of it when they have that many followers.
Wow.
Jeez, so funny.
That's crazy. Yeah, that could be the new reverse stock like storefront now that it's like getting hammered by everyone else.
Smart idea though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, because like, yeah, that'd be like super curated, and I feel like stuff like that. Nothing is obviously tank proof, but I feel like the Stanley Cups, like at that height, like they were tank, like those were selling so fast, like
Yeah.
it just wasn't good. Like it's just one of those things. It's just not going down. Like the supply was just not there for any of it. But wow, so do you think that's like one of your bigger strategies, or it's just like something that kind of happens naturally?
No, I don't think it's my biggest strategy. I just think that it's helped me to get in on some like crazy bolos that people aren't even looking at.
So are they like hush hush bolos? Are they like bolos that you know of, and then like not that many people get on it because they're just not paying attention?
I think it's like a little of both. Like I think I got in on the Stanley game before people were talking about the Stanley game, because TikTok was like insane about the Stanleys. Like these girls were going ham over the Stanleys. And I was like, I have to look this stuff up. And there wasn't that many listings at the time on Amazon yet. So I got in on that. I don't want to say everything, but like I always end up hearing people talking about these bolos like after the fact that they've been talked about on TikTok for like over 6 months.
Interesting. Wow. Yeah, that's really, that almost seems like, yeah, like the ultimate edge to kind of like get in on that. And I have noticed that like too, like not necessarily on TikTok, but like so when you just see the same thing like over and over and over, finally like what the hell is this? Like what is it? Like where are people getting it? Like why do they care about it? And then like who knows where that could kind of like lead you. Yeah. I'm like on the fence about like getting into shoes and apparel again. What argument would you make to get? I've never done shoes, so I'm kind of like I don't know.
You've never done shoes ever?
Only I bought 4 pairs once to test, and I think they each got returned like twice. And I'm just like, I'm not doing this again. But now, like, I was talking to someone the other day, and he's like, dude, like, you're so dumb. Like, you're making like $30-$40 a pair on this. Like, you're getting cash back. He's like, if you get the return, like, most of the time you can sell it back. And he's like, just use this prep center who does eBay selling, and like, you'll be fine. Like, I don't know, man. Like,
so the one thing I can say is even when things get returned, when they get returned, I will be like completely honest with you. I'll just like take like the last like 6 months. Okay. Just the last 6 months in general. I think maybe I have them in my closet back here because I moved out of my office. I only have 3 pairs that actually got fully returned to me that are like I have to sell them on eBay or I need to sell them elsewhere. Like 3.
Okay.
Other than that, like all of them have been in good condition to where Amazon is like taking them back and re-putting them in my inventory. I have had a few that got sent back to me, and I'm like, I don't know why they even got sent back to me, because they're in perfect condition. And then I literally put them on for merchant fulfilled, and it actually like turned out better for me that happened, because then nobody was on the listing, and then like I sold them for like astronomical on merchant fulfilled, and they sold. So like there is risk of like you're gonna get returns people's foot size. I don't know. People just don't know their foot size. So or they just don't like the fit. But like honestly, if I really think of like I think about like how many of the returns are coming back to me and am I really having to deal with them? Like so like those 3 pair, I'm like, I'll have to deal with them. Like I think one of them, somebody even sent me shoes that weren't even the shoes that I sold, but it's like in the grand, like big scope, it's like not that big of a deal.
So you think it's definitely worth it to at least try?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. I like whoever you spoke to said it's like that 40, 50. Some of them I've gotten way over, like some of them are like 75, 80 making on a pair. It's, it's just like, I just to me it's like it's almost like less work, or like I mean I have a prep center, but sometimes it just seems like less work of searching for like a lot of inventory to spend the money, like like to spend an average a day, because I can go in and spend like $3,000 on one store and then roll out.
Yeah, because that's what I was telling him. I was like, after I started doing shoes and apparel, it was really hard to spend money because it was just like you find one thing, you could drop like $3,000 on it because you get like a small, a medium, a large, an extra. And it's like, okay, like I'm done sourcing for the day. Like spent like $4 or $5,000. But like when you're looking to get like groceries, and then you're like doing like $5 profit, $7 profit, and it's just like, oh my God, it's taking forever. And then he was saying he spent like $150,000 last month. I'm just like, I don't know. I was like, oh man, like I might just go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the clothing thing is more. I feel like I get a lot more returns when I do clothing.
Maybe
and I get a lot more of like I get a lot more of like people now take the tag off, or like
I never understood that when I got returns. It's like, why did you take the tag off? Like it's like a shirt. Like why cut it? Like I don't understand. Like anytime I get something, I put it on, and then I was like, all right, yeah, this is cool. And then like I cut the tag.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Well, socks might be like the only thing that I don't get like a lot of returns on. Socks are like a huge game for me.
Really?
I love socks. I love socks. A lot of people don't return socks.
So you sell a lot of socks then? Okay.
Yeah, I sell a lot of socks too.
Are you selling like a lot of Nike
socks? Baby socks.
Isn't
it kind of funny talking about what random stuff you sell? Because sometimes, like in the real world, when real people, I'm going to call them real people because sometimes I feel like us Amazon sellers aren't real people. Like the real people in the world, when like, oh, so what do you sell on Amazon? It's like, if I tell you, I'm going to really sound like weird. That's how I feel. That's how I feel.
Yeah, I've definitely like kind of the train I'm on right now. It's just like, yeah, this would be like really weird. And like I'm honestly thinking about shoes because like one of the biggest places I was shopping, I think yesterday I got banned. I'm not sure yet. So like I need a different strategy kind of moving forward. So it might be time for me to do the shoes. What ROI do you stick with for shoes to make up for returns?
I mean, I just stick to my 35% and over. But,
do you have like a profit, like minimum, or just 35%?
No, I just stick to the 35%. Most of the shoes are a lot higher profit. You know, we're not talking about like $3.50 profit when you're talking about little things, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. I think you inspired me. I think I'm gonna take the plunge. I haven't bought any shoes since May 2020, and I'm still getting returns.
Dang, still? Actually, you know what? I can't say that. Let's talk. Want to hear a funny Amazon story today?
Yeah, let's hear it.
Like a year, no, probably 2 summers ago, I sold this fly trap on Amazon. And I didn't really buy that much because at that point, like, I didn't really know much about that kind of thing. And this week, I have gotten over 200 returned to my house. And I have never even, and I looked back like just to like see how many I bought back then, and I bought like maybe 10. And I'm like, I don't know whose inventory just got sent almost 2 years later to my house. So now I have like all of these like random fly traps. And I'm like, my husband's like, what? Because, you know, now that I use a prep center, like everything normally gets sent back to them. But I was like, I don't know even what happened because I usually just whatever, if it's going to get sent back to me, I'll send it to them and then they'll either like donate it or whatever because I usually know what it is when it gets there. But then I was like, what in the world? Like all these packages kept coming in and I'm opening every single one and they're like all of these fly traps from Amazon.
Are they profitable?
I haven't even looked into it yet.
Well, I guess it's $0 buy cost, I guess, unless they charge you.
That actually happened to me one other time, but it wasn't like I was selling this product and it was like I only bought a couple of them. It was like something for fish tanks. And no lie, over 1,000 of them got sent to my house out of nowhere. And these things were so freaking profitable. Like it was like over 150% ROI. And I was like, dude, I don't know who just made this mistake at Amazon, but I'm over here bringing in the cash on this mistake.
Wow, that's insane. Do they send like 200
Calvin Klein underwear.
I was getting like huge boxes full of these fish filters, those fish tank filters. And I was like, what is happening? What is happening? Like they were coming for like over a month and a half. It was crazy. It was crazy. And I was like, I don't even care. I don't even care. You can keep sending them for as long as you want. That's how I felt.
That's insane.
It's always funny getting returns back to your house and then you're getting random stuff and then you think like, well, I got this, wonder who got my stuff and like what did they get and you know what I mean, because like I sent stuff home and then I get like freaking Calvin Klein tidy whities at my house. I'm like, I've never sold those in my life. Why do I have 10 boxes of those? Random.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
kind of funny to think about. Like I got somebody's order and someone probably else got my order.
That's funny. What's the worst thing you guys have ever gotten back?
A lime green. It looked like a golf like skirt, and I do not. At that time, I did not sell anything remotely close to it. It was actually like a private label product. It was from like China.
Oh, that's weird.
It was the weirdest thing. I've never sold anything even close to that at all. And I got that, and I was like, "What is this?" Probably the weirdest thing I've gotten.
Insane. Yeah, I wonder like what that actually happens. Like, because if you were a seller, you would know like 200 are missing. Like, I do wonder like what Amazon would be like. Oh, they just like pay you out for that, or they'd just be like, no, like we never saw them, but like they're obviously Amazon knows where it is.
Oh yeah, that's why like when like my stuff goes missing, I'm like I always think in my head like somebody probably has all of my stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's profitable. That's how I feel. It's like and it's profitable. So wonderful. I'm glad that maybe I added to your wealth too.
Yeah, I guess like I mean maybe they're like, oh, we like sent a bunch of Taylor stuff by mistake. Like, we'll just send her all these fish tanks.
Yeah.
Like,
I have
to
a funny
compensate.
story. It doesn't have to do with Amazon returns, but it had to do whenever I was selling on eBay. It was like almost 3 Christmases ago, and I bought a whole bunch of Barbie ambulances. I don't know if anybody knows what those are, but they were super hot like 3 years ago. And I ordered like 5, I think, on one of my Target accounts, and it came in the mail, and I was like opening the box up, and I looked, and I had one box of, they're like pretty large, so like you can only fit like 1 to 2 in a box, and this one only had 1 in it. So I looked in the other box, and it was a brand new HP laptop.
Ooh.
Somebody got my Barbie ambulance, and I got their laptop.
Wow, that's a good
My
deal.
God.
I was like,
That's
what?
wild.
I thought maybe like I accidentally ordered something, and then I looked like, no, that was, and I like checked the tracking number to make sure that was like in the order number to make sure it was, you know, correlated with the order I was looking at on my Target app, and it literally was. It said that there was a Barbie ambulance in it, and it wasn't. It was an HP laptop. It was like a $200 laptop.
That's wild.
Wow.
Wild.
Yeah, there's some major mess ups. I'm like, I can't imagine being the person who got the Barbie ambulance when they wanted a laptop.
That's crazy. Yeah, somebody just got a Barbie ambulance at their house.
That's crazy. Wow.
That's funny.
What does your business look like? Do you have some VAs?
Yeah, I have 2 VAs right now. Looking to potentially hire a 3rd one. But I don't know if I'm in the right frame of mind right now to like go through the full training again. So every time I hire a VA, it's like, do I have the time to like sit here for a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that, because I talk to people all the time and they're like, should I get a VA? I don't really know how to do stuff. And I'm like, so I'm really glad that you talk about how, you know, intensive it is to train somebody, because there's so many people out there that think like, okay, like I can't source at night because I have kids, I have to work, whatever, and the only time I have is like maybe an hour a day. Should I get a VA? And I'm like, if you can't do it yourself, why are you expecting somebody else to do it for you? Because you need to train those people. Yep. And they're like, well, what if they have experience? And I was like, just because they have experience working for somebody else doesn't mean that they're going to know exactly what you want. Everybody's criteria is different. Everybody runs their business differently. You know, there's so many different shades of Amazon. Like, we're not all the same.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. It takes a lot of work. And honestly, the first VA you hire probably isn't going to be the best. And the second or third might not even be the best. Yeah, they do have experience. Like, some of them do have experience. And I get like really, I don't want to say intense, because I don't think I'm an intense person. But in that aspect, I'm like very intense before they even get hired, because like I'm not playing no games. Like, there's no games. But
so
go
more into that. What are you doing that's like intense? Like what's your process?
Like right off the bat, when we go through, like, you know, I put out the whole, whatever it is, what do you call those? Job ads? Or
yeah, the job ads.
So like intense questioning, like I ensure that they are literally answering every question, because you'll get just like BS where like people are just sending you like their resume, like, heck no. If you can't do the detailed work in the beginning, you're not going to be good for me. Goodbye. So like going through all of that, number 1. Then like number 2, I kind of send them like a bunch of, like, I have like a bunch of Keepa screenshots. So I make them go through, like, I want to see if they can decipher what I'm looking at. Like, so I'm going to send them like a bunch of Keepa, like graphs, and ask them questions based on like a product listing, just to see like where they're at. And then I pretty much go and I say, listen, I'm going to give you like 3 random storefronts. I want to see how much work you can do with 0 software. I want to see what you can do with 0 software. I feel like if you can, and I'm not looking for the leads to be like profitable or that I could use them. That's not what I'm looking for. I want to see like what kind of work you can put in without having anything to your advantage. Like, I just want to see that. And so I make them go through that. I usually just send, like, I have like a packet that I send them, that I have them like walk through and fill out everything. And then after that, we go on an actual Zoom, and I just ask them like tons of questions. I'm making sure that we have at least good communication skills. Like I understand I hire overseas, so I understand we're going to have somewhat of a communication barrier, but I want to make sure like we can get like you understand what I'm saying and what I'm looking for, so that like training going forward, like there's not really much questions asked of what I need out of you. So once we go through kind of like all the interview questions and we kind of get that through, I put them through like an orientation day. So I spend the entire first day that they work, like I spend that entire day with them. And I'm going to let them, they're going to use all of the softwares that I use, that they have access to through LastPass, and pretty much watch them do their thing. Like, because I want to hire somebody that already knows pretty much what they're doing, but then I'm going to go in and critique based on what I want and what I'm looking for. I kind of see out like, are they already skilled in what categories I'm in already? Like I kind of like scope that out, so it's not as much. And then I don't know. I feel like I just ask a lot of questions to them, and maybe some of them are like bogus to some people, but I just feel like it's important. Also, like I'm not a beater. Like I love my VAs. I've had one of my VAs for like a year and a half. I think that was like the first VA I had. If you want a paid like vacation, dude, take it. Like paid vacation, I'll give you the paid week off or whatever. You got stuff going on, I get it. Like, don't worry about it. Because I know at the end of the day, if you had to take off a day, my business isn't going to go underwater because you need to. Like, I feel like some people that I talk to, they'll be like, yeah, no, my VA is not a day off. It's like, bro, you need a day off. Like, I'm going to give you a day off too. Like it doesn't all have to be just like work. Because I don't live my life like that either. I don't know. I just feel like I ask a lot of the questions.
What would be some good questions to ask for people who are maybe trying to find a VA, or what questions do you ask?
Number one question I would ask is about them working with other people. I also make them sign a non-compete, because these are VAs we're talking about. They could work with other people and we don't know. And your leads could, your leads could be they could be working for 3 or 4 other Amazon sellers and they're getting the same leads. I also, not in regards to that, but while it's on my mind, like making sure you're not just like, once they're trained, just like letting them do their like indefinitely, like never checking in on them and continually training them. Like, it's not like, yes, the first like 2 weeks I usually say are like more intense because I'm meeting with them more often to train them. But after the fact, like you should still be continually training them.
Yeah, agreed.
And I totally believe in like team collaboration. Like I want my 2 VAs to feed off of each other and help each other too. Like, let's teach each other, what skills do you have and what skills do you have? And let's help each other. Like, we're all on the same team here.
That makes sense. How do you get them to work together? Are they just kind of like, they share like a lead sheet so they know like someone's put in leads, or they're just kind of like separating the work, or they're just asking like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about that?
Well, I know their strengths. So each of them have their strengths. Like one of my VAs is really strong in like the beauty grocery category, while my other one is really good in like the clothing, sneaker, apparel, like clothing or category. So they kind of stick to that. But like, I want to say like skill sharing, like it doesn't necessarily have to be about leads per se, but like their skills on finding leads. Like, let's help each other learn whatever new skills you are learning. Let's impart that to the other person, or like new things that are coming up that you're learning. Let's impart that to the other person, as well as me, because at times people don't realize some of our VAs are smarter in ways that we are not.
Okay? Agreed. Yeah.
They're just smarter in certain things that we're just not going to be smart in. And so like I take advice like from that, like, you know, they'll be like, oh, Taylor, this blah blah blah. Okay, I had no clue. You know? Like I just say like I will humble myself down to like listen to certain things because my VAs are in the daily grind of finding leads. You know, they're in it day in and day out, 40 hours a week, you know, doing that.
Yeah, I think people get in their head that like VAs are like really like we're so superior to our VAs, but like that's not how it is at all. Like unless you're running that kind of show, but you shouldn't be because at the end of the day, like for example, like my head VA, he actually managed another 7-figure store before mine was even 7 figures. So like he had a lot of like valuable tips and knowledge and stuff. And if I was like that ignorant person that was like, oh, I don't care what you have to say, whatever, like we wouldn't have done as well as we did. But like since I understand that like he has different perspectives on things, he has done this before, like you know what I mean? Like we can all learn from each other. It's a team effort. It's not like me just running the show and then you guys just you know what I mean? Like I don't care about what you guys have to say. It's never that, you know what I
mean? 100%.
So what role do you play? Obviously you manage, are you checking everything out or do you have them kind of doing that as well?
What do you mean?
Like are you buying all the product or do you have them kind of, you approve the leads and they go buy them for you?
No, I haven't gotten that.
Takes a while.
I haven't gotten that trusting yet. There is one VA that I could feel potentially comfortable, like to where I feel like they could go through everything. And I think that I would feel comfortable, but then always something is like still holding me back with like the purchasing aspect. So I still will go through them and look through them, you know, and purchase them myself. But maybe one day. I hope one day because I feel like that's really the next step in me getting just a little bit more out. But I don't know if I'm ready to be that out yet.
Yeah, it just takes time. It took me a while. And it's easier with wholesale because like my vendors have my credit card on file, so like there's no like middlemanning. Like all I do is he shows me the leads and then I'm like yes or no. He places the order and like they already have the information. So like it's not like he's going and using my credit card on different sites and stuff. It's just the vendor already kind of has it. So it's a little bit easier when I get to do wholesale with OA. I don't know. It would take me definitely longer just because like I don't know, you're taking that card and you're putting it on multiple sites. If you don't put it on like the correct site, it could get hacked and like there's a lot of different things obviously that it could go wrong.
Yeah.
Do you still personally source yourself?
Yeah, I do, just not at scale at what I used to do by myself. Like I kind of talked about it earlier, but like I had so much health stuff going on like when I first started Amazon and like in the beginning like I was putting in such long days to where like I never gave myself a break to where like it wasn't like necessarily burnout but like I was just like so like my health was just so bad that I was like I've got to take a step back and like reevaluate like where my time is. And like me sourcing was like, cause I was still doing RA while I was doing OA while I was figuring out the game of OA. So like I was going out and like sourcing all day and then coming back and like sourcing all night. And it kind of was like, okay, once that was over, then I was OA sourcing all day. And then I was like out at least some like during the night. Like I didn't have to like work as much as at night. But then it kind of was like, okay, like this healthy lifestyle that I really want to live. And like, I want to do other things than work. Like, that's my whole thing. Like, I preach that to everybody that's like on my Discord or like on my TikTok, on my coaching. Like, listen, if you're coming to me to like be some gazillionaire, I'm not the person to look at. Like, I'm just not. I am not like, I'm just going to work. That's not me. I'm going to work enough to make money like any other person that's working. But I want to live my life. I got this job to have time freedom. Like I could care less about like making millions of dollars. I truly care about time freedom. So that kind of was like, for me to get my time freedom back, I had to not be sourcing 24/7.
Yeah.
Because it's like you find one good lead and then it's like, oh, I'm going to stay here for an extra, 30 minutes. That 30 minutes turns to an hour, and then 2 hours, and then 3 hours. And it's wonderful. And like, I, obviously could make a lot more money if I was still doing that 40 hours a week, but it's just like, that's not what I want out of my life anymore. Like, it's not as important as like, I think other things in my life are right at this point in time.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think a lot of the times, like, yeah, it can be really deceiving, kind of what you see on social media and TikTok. And, like, you definitely keep it real on TikTok. I was watching like a bunch of your stuff before this to kind of like prepare, and it's like, yeah, some of the stuff you see, not on your feed, but like just on Amazon in general, you're just like, yeah, it's definitely not like that. Like, I can tell you that much. Like, that's not how it works at all. And I think like a lot of people, I think it would surprise you that I don't think a lot of people, they would think they'd want to do like millions of dollars on Amazon, but if they knew what it really took and the team you'd have to build out and like all the inventory you would lose and like all this other stuff. And I'm not to say that it's not possible or like the people are doing it aren't doing it. It's just like to get to that scale, like you're running a business.
Yes.
Like a big business at that point.
Yeah. And it's like, are you willing to like take all of that on, like mentally? Like, my thing is like, am I willing to take it on mentally? Like, my mental health was like so bad, like for like 5 years, that it was because I just like overworked myself because I wanted to get to this certain point. And then when you get there, it's just like, it's kind of like, it's like, okay, so what's next? Because it's never good enough. To whatever point you get, that's like your goal. It's just like never good enough. Like the next thing, the next thing, the next thing, which is wonderful. But it's like, okay, what truly makes you happy at the end of the day? Like what besides work makes you happy? Like that's kind of like where I got. And my mental health was like, okay, like we're going to get healthy. And finally, like this year, I'm just like, so like good, like mentally, physically, like I'm at my best with work, like working mentally, physically, and with my family and with my friends. And that's what truly matters, not like just sitting here and grinding 7 days a week, 24 hours a day,
Yeah, I probably
like, sometimes I feel like I don't resonate with like a lot of people in this industry because of that. But that's fine. I'm being
I think that's like a big part of it too. And I probably bet your business over time will get like a lot stronger because like you're happier, like you're more clear, like and all that other stuff. And yeah, when I did my first like 100K month, it felt like empty. Like it was exciting, and then it was like, yeah, like here we are. Like what's next? Like it was just like so. It felt like amazing, and like everyone's like, oh, like congratulations. But I was like, like I thought there would be like more to this. Like I was not disappointed, but I know
exactly what you mean.
Yeah, I was like, I did it. Like I like, and then I was like, I don't know. I didn't feel like I thought I would feel.
Because it's like you're the only one that cares. Like, like I'm not saying that nobody cares, because I think like the people you rally around you do care about you and like your success and your goals and things. But like at the end of the day, you're like the really only true person that one put the goal in your head in the first place, and then second, like you're the one who's like going to be the most like proud of yourself. Like other people aren't going to feel that like you're going to feel that. So I don't know, I feel like it's like a constant pressure. Like I remember when I was selling on Poshmark, right? I had the goal to sell $10,000 worth of like new clothes. I bought my selling $10,000 of used clothes, because I was like, that's a lot of money for like going out and finding that stuff and then finding customers that are gonna buy this. It's not like Amazon, right? So I bought like a bottle of, what is it, Moët. I don't know how you say that, the champagne.
Yeah, I think it's Moët.
I put a label maker and I put $10,000 on that. And when I hit that $10,000, it was like incredible. Like I couldn't believe that I did that off of like not really knowing knowing really how to be a business owner, and I did it, But then I was like, I'm the only one that cares about that. Nobody else cares about that. I'm the only person that cares about that. like that I did that.
You drink it like by yourself or with your husband.
Well, yeah, I drink it with my husband and like.
It's not like when you win the World Series and everyone's like jumping around, and like all this other stuff.
No, I didn't make a home run or make like a winning touchdown, like, you know.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Yeah, I've been going through that a lot this year. Like, what do I really want to do? Like, how far do I want to take it? I think is.
And also, it's like when you start stepping out of your business, is like it gives you an opportunity to like really self-examine, like what else you want to do.
Agree.
You know, like that's why
Taylor's done a good job of that this year.
In that.
I get so much crap for it though.
For what? Self-examining?
For scaling back my Amazon business and getting into real estate.
I think it's incredible. I have not like personally met you, or like I've only met you through social media, but like when I watch you with these houses, I'm like, this girl might be the most smart girl that I see on here, because I firmly believe the way to like generate wealth is through real estate. Like not that that's the only way to do it. But if we're talking long term, like I think it's incredible. And why not put your money into something that is only going to benefit you in the long term? Like that's not going to go away once you have that house, you know?
Yeah. It
also have different streams of income is what we all need. Okay.
Exactly. No, it all boiled down to like you said, like I wanted to build like long-term wealth, and not that you can't do that with Amazon, but it's just more stable in my opinion, doing real estate, especially like where I live. I live in the Midwest, so like pricing here is absolutely like wonderful for houses. So like you can get houses like this house behind me I bought for $60,000. So like, you know, you can't beat it. I live in a great area for it. And I don't know, I just kind of, it's been like refreshing almost to step outside of Amazon, because with Amazon, there's just so many like rules, and you know, they're always changing the goalposts. So like whatever benefits them, they do. And with, you know, real estate, it's pretty cut and dry. You know what I mean? Like you gotta obviously save up the money to pay for the house, and make sure you pay for the mortgage if you're not paying cash, and if you're lending, then obviously paying for the loans. And other than that, there's not really, other than like the market stability, but that's about it. There's not real like, it's not like Amazon. Amazon can't IP my house. They can't counterfeit claim my house.
They can't take it away. That's the thing. Is like, I always think about this, like Amazon at any point, I mean, it's not going anywhere for, we don't know how long. Okay. But I'm just saying, like, that is one thing that is like, it can go away. Like, you having real estate is not going to go away. Like, you own that. That's yours.
No, as long as nothing bad happens to it.
Yeah, as long as nothing bad happens. But like, overall, you know, they can't go and like deactivate your house. Like,
yeah, that's like, yeah, that's really true.
I'd like to see them try.
Yeah. Also, like, I don't remember who it was, but some like speaker that I follow, some like motivational speaker was like, you need to, like, every single person that is like wealthy has 7 streams of income. They have 7 different ways of bringing in income. And like, I firmly like believe in that. Like you need to diversify yourself. Because at any point something could happen to your mainstream that you think. But if you have multiple streams going on, you're not so worried about when that one thing goes, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
They want the fast money. They don't care about the long term potential in anything. They just want to make the quick million right now, and then they have no idea what they're going to do after that quick million is gone.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. My favorite thing is this million. Some of these people, like, these Amazon sellers, like, that million is burning a hole in their pocket by the posts that they make. I'm like, you're not, like, let's reinvest it into something else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, let's do something else that's going to generate profit rather than just like, let's blow it on a Lambo, you know?
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, that's always interesting what to do with it.
I think it was Michaela that said that she didn't buy a Lambo, she bought a house or something like that.
Yeah, I do think I will say that. I do think yeah, I do think it's important to really like pull money out of the business. I've always pulled money out every month. Like I have a certain amount that like comes out. And like I kind of learned that from like Alex Hormozy because it's like like you guys are saying, like anything could happen at any given time. And it's just like whatever, like I'll have something to show for it. Like because I'm taking money out. Like it's not all in inventory, it's not, it's not everything. And it like makes me like sleep better at night knowing that like what, like stuff's coming out, it shows like progress. I feel like when I kept all the money in the business, it was just like, what do you like, where's all the money? And it's like all in inventory and you're just like like this is what you're supposed to do, I guess. And it's just like, no, like I've always like taken out a certain amount. I'm like probably gonna start like taking out like a little more and just be like, because you can just put it back in. I mean, it's not like it's gone forever. But yeah, it's definitely like super interesting. And like we've talked about it before. And I think Amazon's like a great model or whatever, but like I'm spending like 40, 50 grand on inventory every month. It's like, ooh, like what else could you deploy that on? Obviously, it's like credit and like the money's coming back. Like I'm not carrying balances or anything, but like when you think about like how much you're spending every month on inventory, you're like, huh. Like Michaela bought a house, like, right? Instead of like 60 grand worth of wholesale stuff. So it's just like interesting to think about.
Yeah.
Kind of like keep your options open.
Yeah, 100%. That is 100%.
So having multiple streams is a decent idea, but you have to make good money off of one stream before you diversify. I do not think you really know what you're talking about.
I bet Donald's fun at parties. I bet you're such a fun party person.
Probably. I didn't see the last part, but I mean,
my favorite is when people comment things like this, like they don't even have a decent stream, so it's all right.
No.
It's all good.
Hey, it's okay. You know the people on TikTok are real harsh, okay? Are real
I imagine.
I can't even imagine. Like, yeah, you're like, oh, that was a softball, man.
You have
like,
to have a real sense of humor. Real sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't really take anything seriously.
No. Sometimes I like screenshot the comments and like I'll send it to like a group chat of all my friends and I just laugh because it's just so funny. I'm like, these people have nothing better to do.
Do you ever do like the screenshot and like you like talk about it? Or, like, oh, something like
mean comments? No, I don't.
Yeah, okay. I've seen some people do that.
You know why? I'm never going to drop myself to people's level. Like I know who I am. I'm not going to drop myself to like your level of petty whatever,
Agreed.
I'm just going to be a nice person on TikTok that tells you like it is about selling on Amazon. I sell no dreams or hopes. That's what I feel like. I'm not going to sell you high hopes on TikTok. I feel like there's everybody on TikTok is selling some real high hopes about, selling on Amazon, and that is just not me. I'm not going to.
There you go.
I think you can make a good job out of it. You can make a lot of money, but it takes a lot of work. That's it.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Well, I think we'll wrap it here. Oh man, it's already been an hour. Thanks for being here. Where can people follow you? And do you have any last parting words?
People could follow me on TikTok. I'm Treasures by Tay. On Instagram, I'm _Treasures by Tay. But for the most part, yeah, you can find me at Treasures by Tay. And no parting words. Thank you guys for having me. It was awesome. I'm always happy to network with other people.
This was awesome. A lot of fun, and we'll have to do it again.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Peace out.
Bye.